Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from CES 2025 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and joining me for this segment, we have Adrian McDermott, Chief Technology Officer at Zendesk, and we're here to discuss how customer experience is being revolutionized with AI and automation. Adrian, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to TradeTalks.
Thank you, good to be here.
You got it. And give us an overview of what Zendesk is doing in this area, and then we'll get into it more holistically of how customer experience is just being totally changed.
Sure, yeah. So Zendesk is a customer service software company. We have over 100,000 customers globally, and they use us basically to talk to their customers, whether those are internal, external, B2B, B2C. And I think what we're seeing people looking for are predominantly two experiences, right? Firstly, there's the co-pilot experience, making the humans of customer support more consistent, better informed, better able to answer customer questions. And secondly, there are the autopilot or bot experiences, which is allowing our customers to self-serve using AI to be understood, to find the answer that they're looking for, to be able to resolve their problem.
And I'm glad you laid that out there because, customer experience, it can be very arbitrary. And it sounds as if you're learning more from the data that you're collecting, developing a baseline for customer experience. Data begets data and a better product and so forth. So when you think about the power of automation and AI technologies and so forth, how is that helping to impact customer experience and then other technologies as well?
Sure, yeah, I think that no customer or no company that you talk to is ever going to say, you know what, I have enough customer service. I don't need any more, right? That's just not a thing. And it's not a thing because we're generally constrained by how much human capital we can deploy and still be a profitable business.
Right.
Right? And so that even, if you think about the technology shifts in customer service, we introduced the phone so we could have contact centers, everything didn't have to be face-to-face. We got scripts, we got queues, we got all of the rituals of customer service. The internet came along, democratized access to customer service, so every business could be on the internet, but you still ultimately needed humans to answer those emails and have those chats. This is a different paradigm shift in terms of technology because we're no longer going to be constrained by the availability of well-trained, empathetic human capital. Instead, we can deploy technology. And that opens up for Zendesk customers this opportunity to really think to themselves, well, I can put service everywhere. I can use the information I have, all the training I've been using for customer service agents and the data. I can use that for AI agents to go reach people. And when someone does need to talk to a human, I can make sure that every employee I have can sit in front of that customer and give them this incredibly personal, timely response because they have all this information at their fingertips, driven by a deep co-pilot experience that tells them what to say, when to say it, how to say it.
See, and that's what's so interesting because the frustration when you'd have to hit one if you want this, or you go on the internet and you kind of have the standard pop-up paperclip, whatever that guy was called.
Clippy.
Clippy, that's a Clippy. And the experiences are more personalized because at the end of the day, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing when it comes to customer service, right?
Yeah.
So having this more personalized experience, even before you get to a human, it's not like you have to re-explain the whole thing all over again, and you're finding the right solutions. When you think about the future of work and blending the power of AI, but then also recognizing the human insight, what do you think that looks like?
Well, I think that firstly, it's probably going to be the fact that 100% of customer service interactions involve some kind of AI. About 20% probably will always involve a human. There are situations where some people or some questions or things related to risk and safety are always going to require to hit zero and speak to the operator, and that will be enabled. And so then if we map that back onto the future of work, we often used to divide support into tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, increasing complexity. Tier 1, I think, is eminently automatable sets of questions that probably are enriched by automation. It doesn't detract from the experience. Maybe a lot of tier 2, 3 as well. And so what we're doing to the human population is we're moving that repetitive work, and that's allowing us then to deploy the humans to have higher quality, richer, more personal conversations with people, to represent your brand and make someone feel like they're getting great service, right? Great service, if you think about it in terms of hotels, it's the difference between basically, or restaurants, how many humans are serving you in a given moment and providing service versus it's completely automated. I think we can think about support in the same way. Having humans in the right place that are well trained. And so from a work point of view, we're going to be upskilling the people that remain. We're going to use a lot more people to create what we call the rules and the tools of engagement for customer service, right? Someone has to create and document the content. Customer service in contact centers used to be kind of an oral tradition. There would be cave painting on the whiteboards about today's policy. You know, I would train you by sitting with you and listening to your calls and having that conversation, right? I think we can move past that, but moving past that requires skilled workers writing these things down and training the machines and the people at the same time.
Yeah, when you think about it from a demographic perspective as well, let's call it Gen Z and then the generation behind that, they're going to be growing up with this.
Yeah.
So that's how they're going to perceive customer service, and the rest of us are going to age out at some point. So you know, you're really building for the next demographic and where, you know, the wealth transfers are going at the end of the day.
I've bred a number of Gen Z humans at this point, and I can tell you that they're not aware that the phone is a device for voice communication.
Right.
It's not a thing that they use it for. And someone asks them for their email address, they're like, what is this, some kind of scam? Right? The way that they want to experience conversation is different. It is immediate and synchronous chat, right? Along with messages. And it's also abbreviated where you have to understand a lot of the context to be able to successfully have a conversation.
Oh, I know.
You probably have children the same age, everything, right? You know.
Like in New York Times, there was a clue the other day on there was for seriously and how it's spelled in text language, and I didn't get the clue until like I finally figured it out, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I am completely aging myself out of this. But to your point, there is no email or text. It's within these digital communities that they socialize in a way or communicate.
Yeah, and basically different groups, you know, different demographics dictate how people will seek service and want to communicate. And we have to be there for all of those populations, but we also, the tougher one actually is the youngest population. It's the Gen Zs and the alphas that come after them that create a different set of communication modalities and expectations.
Yeah, well, imagine what our conversation will be like in 5 years. All right, appreciate the insight, Adrian. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me from CES. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at